I just heard recently that for the first time ever, new homes are selling for less than used homes. Because the reason for that, I think anyway, is because they have a 1 year builder loan. They have to sell it. They're motivated. And people with used homes, sometimes they're motivated if they have to move. But those people that are just seeing if they can sell it, they're just not selling.
Hey everybody, it's Kathy Byrnes here with Real Estate Riches, and today my guest is my good buddy Randy Justice, who I'm partnered with on many ventures, especially in
Yes.
our business, which is EXP Realty. So, hey Randy, how are you?
Well, how about you?
Great. Randy and I meet along with some other agents every Tuesday morning, and we like hold each other accountable and things like that. And we were talking about something that Randy's been doing and found great success in, and that's with new construction because so many agents are struggling. And there's a bonanza right there. And that's why I wanted to have Randy on, start to talk about that. So, Randy, talk about because today we have to disclose when we get bonuses, we have to disclose our rate. That's the new
Sure.
mandate. And sometimes when you got a new construction person, you're taking a client and they see you're going to get paid $2,000, over and above your commission, and they get a little anxious. How did you handle that with your particular people?
Well, you have to have them sign off on it. You have to be completely upfront about it. And basically, the bonus that I got on the last one was for a completed construction and close it by the end of that month. Because so if the month passes, the bonus is gone. So it has to
Oh,
close. Yeah, it's
wait.
it's for it's for a quick close on a finished new home.
Ah, so there's a way to present that to your client and say, listen, you fit this mold. They're going to pay me a bonus because I found someone like you who could close in this time frame. And
Right,
so I'm being rewarded from it. It has nothing out of your pocket. The builder's
right.
paying me. So there's
Mhm.
definitely a way to phrase the different scenarios.
Well, there's something you got to make it something in it for them too, and that's what I did. I got them a new washer and dryer, refrigerator, blinds in the whole house. I got them everything that I knew from experience, that they had to offer. And so it was a win-win.
Yeah, it really is. That so many people don't realize what we do and how we bring so much to the table. I read this one Facebook post. This guy was saying, "Hey, I'm trying to sell my house by myself. I don't want to pay those realtors a dime because they're just the middlemen and they just capture all this check." And I said, "Oh wow, how naive are you?" I'm thinking all the work that we do per client. It's immense.
Right. I've heard it's an average of 100 hours per transaction
It has
of
to
labor.
be. And sometimes much more, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's,
it depends, but the average is 100 hours. And they just don't see us, the amount of paperwork we're doing, for hours and hours and hours on the computer. They just, see us with the photographer, see us put a sign in the yard, and we call them when they got offered. They don't realize all of this work,
in the back end,
to be
right.
able to present this offer.
And that was why I wanted to have you on here because you had that success with that. And it got me thinking. So I went on Grok and I said, do research on all the new construction, what's going on in the new construction world for agents who are struggling right now. Maybe that's a path that they want to pursue, right? And
Right.
was it you that was telling me that you can go to build a relationship? I think you have it with DR Horton, where you can go there, you can promote their listing as, you
Yes.
know,
They'll let you brand it to yourself. And, we use Bold Trail. So, yeah, you can go to Bold Trail,
as a
take their
CRM.
listing,
Yeah.
the CRM, and brand it to you, and with their permission, of course. And most of the builders will let you. They just want to sell them, and they don't mind paying the buyer's agent to sell them. So, even for agents that don't have any listings or good listings, and the market's slow. And I just heard recently that for the first time ever, new homes are selling for less than used homes. Because the reason for that, I think anyway, is because they have a 1 year builder loan
Hmm.
and they have to sell it. They're motivated.
Yeah.
And people with used homes, sometimes they're motivated if they have to move, but those people that are just seeing if they can sell it, they're just not selling. If
Yeah.
they're not motivated, yeah. Basically, I've heard lately that sellers of used homes are chasing the price lower. So the price is going down, 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 and they have to lower, below that next stair step down to get attention and get sold. And most sellers, a lot of sellers that I work with, the used homes are like, well, just wait for the market to come back. We're just not that motivated, which is fine. You want to get the most you can, but also if they're buying and selling, I try to help them understand it's a good buyer's market now. So you may come out not as well as you wanted to on the selling, but you're going to get a deal on the buyer's end. So it all really kind of comes out even.
Yeah, that's a valid point, Randy. Well, and I was thinking with this new construction, especially if you go build a relationship with the builder and you market it yourself and you do like you're using, what's the name of that company you're using for the
For the
AI?
videos,
Yeah.
yeah, it's called virtualtour.ai.
Yeah, and that's just one of them. But that
Right.
it caught
There's
my
more.
eye the other day when you had this house, and it was like it pops out because it's different.
Yeah, it's
What you
different.
got to do today,
It
be
just took a
different.
headshot and put me standing in front of the door as if I were there. Like I
Yeah.
had spent a couple hours in a photo shoot and it was 20 seconds for AI to do that with the listing pictures.
Yeah, and it popped and it was unique. And that's the marketing piece of what agents have got to do to start getting better. And that's really the goal of this whole podcast today is to talk about what agents can do in a challenging market where there are
Right.
opportunities and how to be different that cost you the least amount of money.
Exactly.
Yeah, because we're all watching our pennies.
Well, AI has really helped because paying a photographer, videographer was several $100s per listing. And this virtual tour.ai is $39 a month for
Yeah,
10 per month.
which is great. And not many people are doing 10 per month right now. So
No, no, I'm not.
yeah.
I wish,
So,
I hope.
so I think what the lesson here is number one, you need to be going to the new construction sites in your
Right.
area and finding out,
Yes.
if they have incentives for the agent,
Sure.
as well as having incentives for the buyer. Because you were talking about the buy down rates, and let's talk about that a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, most of them have the 2-1 buy down where it's like 3.99 for the first year, 4.99 for the second year, and then 5.99 for the third year. A lot of the big builders are have relationships with banks that will discount it, or some of them, the real big ones, play the bank themselves, so they can do the rate whatever they want, regardless of what the rate is out there in the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's one of the reasons I think that new construction is more appealing. What I've found is it's a lot of times it's young couples, and the lady wants a move-in ready house, and the guy wants 100 acres. I say jokingly, he wants land, and but at the end of the day, a lot of times they just it's nice, and they're usually small lots, but they usually have a small HOA that's not too expensive, and they have a clubhouse and they have a pool, and it's real nice for young couples with small children.
Well, the way I see it is they got their foot in the door. They got their foot in the door to the buy opportunity where, historically the values have gone up. So,
Right,
so now they've got where they're in a position to be earning equity. Now, yes, their rate is going up and they do have to be prepared for that and plan for that. I like it better where it's going up 1 year at a time. So,
right.
um,
Gives them a little time and hopes the rate will go down, but no guarantee.
and yeah, there is no guarantee because it's only for 3 years that it's doing that. And then the fourth
Right.
year, what happens? It's whatever the
You
rate
go back
is.
to market rate.
Okay. And that really has to be discussed. Like, you talk to me like I'm a high eye on the personality style, which means I don't pay attention as much to the details. So
Right.
all of a sudden year five is here and I'm like, or four is here and I'm like, oh, I didn't plan for that. That
Right.
really has to be
Most
a
people are looking that they can swing the pace payment to get in, but that's the first year at 3.99. They really need to look, can they squeeze 3 years from now what the payment would be at 5.9? Because it's going there unless they get lucky and the rate does go down.
Right.
It could go up.
It could go up.
We
So
got down to 5.9 right before the war started, and now I hear we're averaging around 6.75.
I don't know. I'm
Have you
not
heard?
positive on
Okay.
that.
Of course, that depends on credit and all that.
Yeah, all that
Credit
stuff.
score.
But the
Right.
truth is, what I did also read with Grok is that the builders are holding their value of the price of the home. They're not reducing the price of the home per se. Some may, but the majority are kind of holding that firm because they don't want the values to drop in the neighborhood, which affects everybody's thing. And now you
Because the
can't.
one they sell is the comp for the next one.
So that's an important piece. And
Yes.
and I think as the agent, those are your little catches that you want to watch. You not
Right.
only you want to educate your client, like here's our reality of where this can go. If you can't do
Mm-hmm.
this, don't do this. And
Right. Exactly.
exactly. Yes, I do get paid a bonus. In today's world, there's a lot of extra things that we're working on. I'm going to negotiate as much as I can to help
Sure.
you get more. But the other thing is I one thing I read was about the lender. So the lender sometimes can have points within it, and it appears like they're giving away all of the deal, but they're actually charging more. What did it say?
Right.
And
One point
so
is 1% loan rate, right? Just
yes,
called like buying the rate down. Is that what you're talking about?
yes. The
Yes.
preferred lender trap, demand a loan estimate from the builder's lender, take the LE to an independent lender, oh, loan estimate, to the
Yes.
independent lender for a stress test. If the
Yes.
builder's lender is charging 2 points in fees to give a 1 point rate credit, the incentive is a mirage.
You see, my last buyer did that. They were very savvy, and they got the loan estimate from D.R. Horton, and then they went to a local lender that I recommended, and he admitted he couldn't beat it because they were giving them 5,000 in seller pay closing costs on top of a real cheap rate, and he's like, I can't, and they weren't taking advantage of him on points. So
Whenever I did, I haven't done new construction in ages, but when I did, I
hmm
always suggested that they go to an independent lender
hmm
just to see. And there was
right.
never a time that the builder's lender wasn't better. So my guy,
Yeah.
which I
It's sad
hate,
to say. And in this case, it didn't happen because this buyer wasn't pre-approved yet. But what happens a lot in the past is, you connect them with the lender, the lender's worked, and then they drag them away from them because they can beat it. And they're like, and they try to beat it and they can't. And, no buyer's going to stay just because they liked them if it's going to be thousands more. And you can't blame them. And that's kind of a downside to what happens a lot. But it didn't this time. They weren't, didn't have a pre-approval. So
that's
so it
good.
kind of it kind of works out good. You usually you want them to, but in that case, it's really better if you're not dragging them away from a relationship and time spent with a lender.
Yeah, and with new construction, I always insisted on full inspections of the house. I wanted,
Yes,
especially the roof,
yes,
because they're building them so fast because they've got a timeline
right.
to get done,
They are
and it's mistakes happen, and that's how you get them honored right away before the closing
right, and
date.
they will fix it if you find
Yeah,
it,
if you
and they
find it.
will fix it. They have to stand by it for a year and structurally for 10 years. But I've heard the numbers on that. On a used home, 90% get a home inspection. On a new home, only 50%.
Yeah.
But I always highly recommend because I've done new construction where the 220 was wired wrong and
Yes.
the stove didn't work and the hot water heater didn't work. And yes, if the person didn't do the home inspection and didn't know that, they would have made it right. But picture this: moving into your dream home, and everybody's so happy, and you can't cook your first meal because your
Yeah.
range doesn't work. And you just need to know up front. And that's the best $400 or $500 you could ever spend, in
Oh,
my opinion.
especially and the roof because they're doing the roof. I've had
Right?
more issues with the roof. I want that
Yeah,
fixed because you get water leaks. Now you got bigger deals that yes, they'll fix it, but now you got maybe stuff you stored in the roof that's now got damaged and who
exactly.
wants a
Well, and a
negative
lot of them are
first?
doing the cheap 3-tab roofs on the new
Yes,
builds,
which
and
is another thing.
yeah, they're
Your
not
insurance
architectural
is
shingles on a lot of the the quick new builds.
Yeah.
It's a 15-year roof, and architectural is a 30-year roof, a metal roof, which isn't as pretty, but it's a 50-year roof.
Well, and I started learning, I think it was really early last year, about the insurance situations with roofs. Like if I got
Mm-hmm.
a listing and the listing was 14 years old, the roof was 14 years old,
Right.
I tell them before we even make an offer on it, we got to call some insurance companies to find out would they insure this roof? Because if they're not going to insure that roof, that has to be part of my negotiations. I don't necessarily
They're
want to
getting
make,
more picky. Insurance
yes.
companies are, yeah.
North Carolina, it's 15 years is pretty much the mark. Oh,
Well, they're tired of everybody getting roofs for the insurance companies paying for them. So my son got a message from his insurance company like, you need a new roof. Our insurance guy's gonna come by within the next couple months and see that you got a new roof. You know, yeah, and he got a new roof. See, I don't know if you know this. You know how you have a credit score? Every person has an insurance score,
you know, I've heard that, but I never paid any
and
attention.
that the insurance your insurance score is you get tagged if you're the person that gets a free roof every time there's a hailstorm.
Oh, sure, that
And
makes
your
sense.
insurance rate is higher than somebody that says, I'll just take care of it myself and unless the place burns down, you
Yes,
know? And because they have to assess their risk
sure, it makes
and
sense.
charge you accordingly. And I know people don't like it and we want everything free, but
Yeah.
it's a business and they're looking at their numbers.
I think the bottom line is for the realtors out there, I think you need to go check out new construction. D.R.
Yes,
Horton was someone you were working with that's here in North Carolina, but
there's plenty. Century Homes is a big one.
yep,
True Homes.
True
And the
Home.
thing is, just build a relationship with the person sitting in the model
Yes.
because they're bored because the market is slow and that friendship will go a long way. And most of them will let you market them as if they're your listings, and that's a big deal.
Yeah, and a lot of times they have a house to sell, and if you've got a relationship with that guy or gal in there, they may let
Hmm.
you know that, hey, they got a house to sell. You may want to try and get that done because it sounds like they got to sell that first before they can move in here. So,
Most do.
yes. So that's an opportunity there. So,
Right.
okay, now let's switch gears. Let's talk about leads. Let's talk about
Okay.
agents that are paying, because I know you've paid for these for years. I did it in the beginning and I just never found results with the leads. So, but you've been
Well,
doing
you're
them for
right.
years.
It all comes down to cost per lead and conversion rate. And I learned that in one of the EXP World classes years ago. So, how much you paying for that lead, and the average realtor closes 3%. In other words, if I give you 100 leads, you're going to close three. And that's somebody that's working it pretty good. Zillow Flex teams are expected to close 30% or they get kicked off the team.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, and well, I was on Zillow Flex and got kicked off the team because we didn't send enough people to the Zillow home loans people. We were doing the 30%. Yeah. So, but yeah, I've got 5 charged up credit cards to prove it. I bought everybody there is to buy from. And yeah, I started out in 2012 with Zillow. I could tie up my little town for $150 a month and built the business that way. But now it would be thousands, and you're not even allowed to buy leads unless you join Zillow Flex, and then they take 40% of your money beside your firm split. It's just not worth it.
Oh, I didn't know it was on I didn't know you got double whammied.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that everybody that had their credit card and they were just charging them for leads in the big towns, including Charlotte, not everywhere, but in the big cities, they're like, we're not doing that anymore. We want experienced agents that will close these, that will take care of our customers, and we only want seasoned agents. And there, the seasoned agent is allowed to be on the Zillow Flex program, and the new agent, like I was in 2012, they're just not allowed to buy because they're just not experienced enough to even. Now, Realtor.com still sells them, and I told you that $60 a lead and shared with another agent. Homes.com has a little different approach since they got bought out by CoStar, which is a commercial company. They send the lead back to the agent. They're not trying to get dual agency. They just think that the listing agent probably knows more about that listing than anybody else, and it's the best person to call. And then people that partner with him. And that's the only thing I still do besides the Jake Hinder thing, which I think you're probably going to talk about here in a minute. But yeah, I do it with them because they go on websites and they retarget. In other words, when you're looking at one of my listings and it follows you around, and they pay a lot of money for that. And so I
Yeah.
buy into that, and it's
Did
worth it.
did any of those train you on how to do the calls?
Yeah, they all have classes, but I don't know if I've ever sat through too many. That EXP class I did sit through. To be honest, I've always been motivated by poverty. When the checkbook gets low, I hit the phones. So yeah,
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of agents are scared to do that right now. They're looking for an easier path, and that's something that you and I have tapped into just 2 weeks ago.
right,
Really,
right.
really excited about it. We have an opportunity to introduce agents to this, and
Mhm.
what I'm excited about it is it's AI driven. So they had a
Right,
proven funnel lead system that was already working. Then they brought AI into it first, and you just experimented with this yourself, where you used AI to figure out the territory that you live in based on your niche. Where should you be working in your own little area? And it completely switched you over to
right,
to a couple different towns because that's where the
right.
business was, and you've been working in a kind of dead zone, and
Yeah,
that's why there's not as much business. So just the
right.
AI piece. Well, this is something they've not only incorporated into for the agents that are going to choose to participate in this, but the price per lead, wasn't it around $3 a lead?
$3 to $4. He's basically giving. He said he can give you 100 leads a month for $300. So three
That's
three
the ad
bucks a lead.
spend. The $300 is the ad spend.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. That's not money to him. That is money given to Meta, basically,
Yes.
is where it's at. So it's amazing. He's basically figured out what we've been trying to figure out and have to some extent, but got it figured out, got the people to get you there and work with AI to know your niche and get you there quickly and easily. It
and
goes
work
back
with
to
your
the
and work with your own CRM. They were
right,
talking
right,
primarily with Bold Trail, or yeah, Bold Trail. However, within Bold Trail, there's all this AI interaction, so you're not necessarily beating the phones like you were. It's a lot simpler process, and because of all
right,
the funnels that they're doing. So, people, if you're interested in that, Randy's information is going to be in the description. So is mine, of course. Either one of us can help you with that. So whoever you
right.
feel,
And it's exclusive to certain agents that,
yeah, it's
have production.
yes. And yeah, you have to have hustle. This is about energy, hustle, and commitment. As in anything that you want to succeed in, those are your components and your attitude, right? So if this sounds like you've been paying for leads and you don't like that, you need to reach out to one of us because
Right,
you can explore it and decide, do you want in? And if you do,
right.
man, they'll train you, they'll do everything. It's amazing. So go ahead.
Well, it's a no-brainer for me because I was spending $350 a month with Realtor.com and getting 11 leads.
Yeah.
So, and sharing them with another agent.
Yes.
So do I want to continue that, or do I want to do this for 300 a month and get 100 leads and have
Better
AI
lead.
driven things to where people know, like, and trust you already from
Yes.
when you successfully did this. You got further than I did. You completely cloned yourself digitally. It looks like you're sitting there walking, talking, and it's AI.
Yeah.
So and
Well,
that's what he's helping, his people do.
yeah. And it was his son that kind of brought that piece to him. And so that's what's happening. AI
That is
is
interesting.
integrated into everything we do, and it can be much more efficient than us. It can make things cost less for us. And
Yeah.
that's it. We need savings right now. We need real quality leads of people who really want to buy and sell because it's not just buyers, it's buyers and sellers. It's however the niche is set up. And if you told them, hey, I want this kind of niche, and the AI comes back and says, there's not enough leads in your area for that niche, we need to fine tune this. I love that. That's the integrity of it all because
Right.
like let's say I wanted to sell waterfront homes that all were like 5 million and above, and I was hoping for 100 leads a month. In
He
my
would tell
area,
you up front, I can't get you 100 leads,
yeah.
but he said
And
he could get 100 leads a month for anybody, anywhere. But yeah, you may have to, loosen up your niche. You may not be able to just do one subdivision. You might have to, you
right.
got to branch out enough to have enough of an audience.
Well, we have a webinar that we can invite you to, and
Right.
that's the only way you're going to find out about it. So you got to reach
Right.
out to either one of us for the webinar. I'm not going to put the webinar link in here. You got to reach out to us personally. We got to interview
Right.
you and see if you're a fit for this. And
Right.
if
This
you
is not for
are,
everybody.
it may be great. It may be great. Well, Randy, this has been awesome. I appreciate having you on here and
Thanks
talking
for
about the
having me.
new construction because the goal is to help agents through challenging times. It can beat you up. This business can beat you up.
Yes, a lot of people got out, and what, 70% didn't sell anything last year.
Yes.
We don't have it all figured out, but we're still here, and we can help you stay here instead of get out.
Yeah. And we survived COVID. So if you can survive COVID,
Right.
you can do anything.
Well, yeah, I'm a mentor, as you know, and the first thing I say is I ask them what their plan B is, and if they say I don't have one, I say good, and if they say they have one, I say, well, you probably should go do that because this is going to be way harder than you think it's going to be.
I love that, Randy. I love that. Well, thanks again for being on here. Really appreciate it. And love the buffaloes in the back because
Yes.
the mission of a buffalo is when they get a storm, they run to
Right.
it where the cows run
Right.
away. Those guys are
Yep.
both. That's us.
And that's why you have the Buffalo Herd Group.
Yep. And you are up in your Airbnb up.
Yeah, and coincidentally, yeah, those are buffaloes here because I have an Airbnb where the Hatfield McCoy trails are, and they ride four-wheelers here, and it's on Buffalo Mountain, the Buffalo Mountain trailhead. Yeah, there's a little swing overlooking the town of Williamson. That's the most visited spot in the
Huh.
whole trail side, and that's like a 20-minute trail ride from here. It's a large house that I rent, so it's called Buffalo Playhouse. So look it up if you're a rider.
And thanks everybody for joining us. Please subscribe below and don't forget you can reach either one of us in here and check out these leads. If you're not the hustler, but you know somebody who is that could benefit from that, tell them to reach out. We'll see if we can help them. Let's book a strategy call and see how it would look in your eyes. And if you're thinking, man, I'd like to have a conversation with Kathy Byrnes. Maybe I'd like to be part of this EXP company and see what it's all about. That sounds good to me. Let's book a strategy call and let's have a talk. No pressure, but man, it's worth a conversation. The link's in the description.